Hi, I'm Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Yakima Overhaul ladder rack on the 2025 Ford F-250. Now this is going to be a great option if you're looking for a type of ladder rack that's going to be super versatile, being able to lower and raise to fit your needs or your loads needs. So let's check it out. Something that's important to take account too is that you're getting the right one for your vehicle. So make sure you plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide. And right now we do have a shorter bed, but it will work with your 8-foot long beds too. Something else to take into account is if you have a tonneau cover, you can actually get a different version of this kit that has an adapter for tonneau covers. So if you do have that, make sure you check that out. But today we're mainly going to be focusing on how this actually interacts with our truck today and what stands out about it. So this kit today is going to come in 3 pieces. We're going to have the basis here at the very bottom. That's going to attach to your towers, and then that will grab onto our crossbars. And these crossbars today are going to be 68 inches in length, so that'll be good for most accessories up here. If you need a little bit more room, then you can get this kit with 78-inch bars instead, so you can really maximize what you can put up here. But I like this overhang we have at the moment because if you have anything that does clamp around here, let's say a kayak carrier, then you want that closer to the edge so it's just easier to unload. But if you don't want to put any clamp-on accessories on this or they just don't fit around here, then it does have a T-channel on the very top, so you can just slide those accessories in like that. And I will say, with this T-channel, it does have some weather stripping at the very top, so it's going to prevent any debris from getting in there, and it's also going to reduce wind noise. Now, if you have other things on top of here, like you're trying to tie down any type of lumber, ladders, anything like that, we are going to have these anchor points at the very end of the crossbars you can tie off too. And moving downwards, we're going to have the tower, and that's what really makes this kit unique. You notice we have this channel here, and this channel is held in place with these bolts here. You're going to have 2 on this side, 2 on the inside, and this secures it down, and this lets you raise and lower this to fit your needs. So if you want to make sure this is going to be above your cab, you can raise it above your cab. If you need it lower, you can do that too. If you want to make sure it's easier to load and unload anything on top of this. And then if we look right here too, we're going to have these 2 holes. These 2 holes are going to be a spot where if you want to put a additional sidebar that's sold separately, you can put that here, and that's going to really let you kit this out and maximize what this can hold. And in the inside, you'll notice there's another tie-off point. And down at the very bottom, we're going to have the base, and there's a lot of benefits to this. One, you're going to notice we have a lock core with 2 of them, so that's going to give you that security so no one can come by and take this from you. And speaking of that, what's really nice is, let's say you need to take off this ladder rack for whatever reason. Let's say you got some super tall items back here. This ladder rack is going to get in your way. Just simply take off these lock cores. You'll have an Allen key that comes with your kit. Unscrew that, and this pops right out of there. So it's not going to be a hassle taking it off if you ever need to. And then right below here is the final benefit of what I really like about this. It's a really easy installation where it just clamps on into place, so you don't have to worry about modifying your vehicle to make this work. Now I want to just talk about a couple measurements. So one of the big things I just mentioned is we want to make sure our stuff's going to fit underneath here. And the way we have this at the moment, this is going to clear our cab. So that's good. So I'll get you that measurement. This will get a little bit taller if you need it to. You guys should look at the specs part of our page to get the exact amount of travel this gets you. Right now, we'll have about 46 inches, a little bit over 46 inches of where this is going to clear your cab. To give you an idea of what it just sits at the base here, at its base, you notice this is going to be sitting at just a little bit over 16 inches with this in the down position. So that'll give you an idea of how much travel we really have here. Now for the distance for where your crossbars or your towers are going to be sitting, it's also going to depend on what type of bed you have. Right now I have this almost maxed out, but to give you just an idea, this is almost 1 arm's length. Now we could bring that in a little bit further if you have any accessories that just don't need that spread. But just keep in mind, there's certain points on your bed, I'll point out right here, where the inside of this bed is really going to conflict with how those clamps go into place. So if you need anything at this point, here's fine. So you really have 3 points where you can place this. Closest to your tailgate, right in the center, and then right next to your cab right here. Now when it comes to how much this can handle, this is going to have a capacity of 500 pounds when you're just driving around. Now if you're going off-roading, that's going to drop to 300 pounds. It's also important just to check what your vehicle can handle. And what I mean by that is if you have this bed just fully loaded up, and then you try to fully load these ladder racks too, you might damage something. So just always make sure to check what your vehicle is rated for. Now in my opinion, I think this is going to be a solid choice if you are looking for something that's going to benefit you above your cab and below your cab. Just make things easy to load and make sure things clear. But if you just need something that's going to sit below your cab, or you want something that's going to be easier to reach and you know it's not going to interfere with the cab, then the Outpost is going to be a great option. That's also by Yakima. But either way you go, I think they're going to be solid choices. It's just going to be depending on what your needs are and what clearance you have. And when it comes to the installation, that's a pretty easy process. The biggest thing is making sure you get the right measurements so everything is squared off, but we talk about that then. So let's jump into it. Now to start off, I'd recommend just laying out all your parts so you know that you have everything. Double check within instructions. And you'll notice I already have my front crossbars in place with the towers. It's going to be the same process for either side. Now, jumping into that, we're going to grab our bases. You're going to have a locking and a non-locking side. This here is the non-locking side. It's going to have a shorter bolt head at the very end of here. This is what your locking side is going to look like. You're going to want to make sure these are paired together so each one of your crossbars is able to lock in place. Once we've done that, then we're just going to line it up where we want it to sit. Make sure there's no obstructions underneath of it. Grab one of your clamps. It's going to look like a J, and it's going to come with a larger bolt, and it's going to have a square nut with it. Those are going to go through one of these two channels we have here, just like that. And that J hook is going to go underneath it, and we're just going to lightly thread it on for right now. Once you have this one roughly in place, because we don't want to fully tighten it down just in case we have to move something, then we can repeat that on the other side with the other channel. So what we want to do from here with this loosely in place is just make sure this is going to work with your spread. So if you have anything up here, make sure that this is going to be wide enough. If it's going to be too wide, you can just adjust it by either bringing it in or out. It's just going to really depend on what accessories you have. Where I'd recommend just measuring from is to the center of one to the center of the other one. But that's something you can do once you have the other crossbar in place. Next up, then we can come over here and make sure this is going to be a good spot for this to sit. And what I mean by that is we'll just measure from the end of our bed to the outer edge of that base. Once we get that measurement, I'm just going to make sure when I put the other base on our driver's side, in this case, that's going to be the same distance away from the end of our truck. With everything squared off, everything's going to go a little bit faster now. We're just going to come by over here and then tighten this the rest of the way down. Just make sure too that this edge is as flush as possible as well. And with both sides properly secured down, we're going to grab our towers. The way you put these on is you just kind of go in at an angle. If you find that it's not fitting through here, just loosen up the nut at the very end of there or the bolt at the very end of there, and it'll slide in. You also notice the orientation of these. This thicker side is closest to our tailgate side. Now, when we're on the cab side, this thicker side is going to be closest to the cab side over here too. Once we establish that, we got the right towers, then we're going to come back over here, tighten this down by hand until it stays in place. And then, depending on which piece you have, you're going to have two Allen keys. The thicker one of the two that look just like one another is going to go with the non-locking side. And the thinner one of the two, that one's going to go with the locking side. We're going to grab that small Allen key again, and when it comes to our crossbar, And you'll notice on the bottom side, there's going to be a bolt inside of here. We're just going to remove that real quick. Trick to this is you can get this loosened all the way down, flip it around, that comes right out. And from here, we're going to put these two middle plates in here and slide it towards the center, put that end cap back on, and then we're going to start putting this. Make sure you put that bolt back into place too. And we can put this on top of our towers. And come up to your bed. Make sure it's centered on either side as much as possible. You can even push it down. Sometimes you'll hear a click. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the overhang we have on either side. And make sure if it's not the same, that at least it's really close to being the same. In my case right now, I'm about 2 inches off, so I'm just going to adjust it by pushing it over some until it is centered. Now for this next step, we're going to secure the crossbar to these towers, and we're going to need that larger Allen key like this. And you can tell it's going to be this one because it's going to be a 6mm, but in the center of it, we're going to have a hole in it. And the bolts we're using right now are those security bolts. You can tab because it has a little nib or tab sticking out of the center of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of those plates that we put into that channel, and we're going to push it through over here. And the trick to this is just to stick that bolt on the very end of this and slide that tab or that plate through here while you're applying pressure with that bolt. Because what that's going to do for us is it's going to start to grab onto the plate where that opening is, and then we can thread this on here. Just make sure you have a split washer and a flat washer on this. Once you have this one secured, I'm almost there now. I'm going to grab the second one, and it's going to be an additional hole right here in this crevice. I'm going to put it over here too. And last couple steps is just grab that lock core, throw it on your locking side, make sure it's secured, give it a good shake test, make sure it's not going to go anywhere, and if it feels good, you can load it up and take it out for a ride. Of course, if you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.